October 12, 539 BC. The greatest city on earth is hosting a party. Inside the palace, the wine is flowing. The food is extraordinary. The guests are the most powerful people in the known world. The king's name is Belshazzar, and he has nothing to fear. The walls of Babylon are 85 feet wide enough to drive a chariot along the top. The Euphrates runs through the city, providing fresh water and a natural moat. The Persian army of Cyrus the Great has been camped outside for months, and they haven't made a single dent. Belshazzar raises his cup. Then, according to the book of Daniel, something appears on the wall of the banquet hall. A hand, writing. That same night, Babylon fell. Not through a breach in the walls, not through a siege tower, not through any weapon that had ever been used against this city before. The Persians walked in through the river. Hammurabi ruled for 42 years, from 1792 to 1750 BC. He conquered, he expanded, he connected Babylon to trade routes stretching from Egypt to the Persian Gulf. But the thing that made him genuinely revolutionary was not military conquest. He wrote everything down. The Code of Hammurabi is one of the oldest written legal systems in human history. 282 laws, carved on a 7-foot basalt pillar. Public, readable, binding on everyone. Laws about wages, about divorce, about inheritance, about what happens if a contractor builds a house that collapses and kills the owner, about what happens if a doctor makes a mistake that costs a patient their life. One of those laws, so embedded in human consciousness that we still quote it 3,800 years later. If a man destroys the eye of another man, they shall destroy his eye. Eye for an eye. A concept we attribute to antiquity in the vague sense, a phrase that comes from a Babylonian king who has been dead for nearly 4 millennia. Under Hammurabi, Babylon became the cultural and administrative capital of the ancient world. Its population grew to an estimated 200,000 people, making it probably the largest city on earth at that time. Then Hammurabi died, and the empire he built, as empires do, slowly fragmented. For several centuries, Babylon receded. It remained a significant city, but not a dominant one. That was about to change. Dramatically. In 612 BC, something extraordinary happened. The Assyrians, the most feared military empire in the ancient world, collapsed. Not gradually, almost overnight. A coalition of enemies had gathered. The Medes from the east, the Scythians from the north, the Babylonians from the south. All of them held old grievances against the Assyrians. The Assyrian capital of Nineveh fell in a single campaign. The empire that had dominated the Near East for 3 centuries was gone so completely that within a generation, people were uncertain it had ever existed. Into the vacuum stepped Babylon. For the second time in its history, the city became the center of the world. Under King Nebuchadnezzar II, who ruled from 605 to 562 BC. Babylon was rebuilt on a scale that had no precedent and no equal. The walls, 85 feet wide. Herodotus, the Greek historian, claimed a 4-horse chariot could turn around on top of them. Even accounting for ancient exaggeration, the fortifications were staggering. The Ishtar Gate, the ceremonial entrance to the inner city, was covered in deep blue glazed brick, with raised figures of lions, bulls, and dragons repeating along its entire surface. The original tiles still exist. Most of them are in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin. The processional way, the great avenue leading to the gate, was lined with 120 lion reliefs on each side. 240 lions in total, staring down at anyone who walked between them. And somewhere in this city, according to the ancient sources, were the Hanging Gardens. Terraced, irrigated gardens cascading down from elevated platforms above the city. Green and lush in a landscape of stone and dust. They are listed among the 7 wonders of the ancient world. We have never conclusively found them. Some scholars now believe they may not have been in Babylon at all, that they may have existed in Nineveh and been mistakenly attributed to Babylon in later sources. Or perhaps they were real, and they simply dissolved back into the mud brick of the city they were built from, centuries before anyone thought to look. No ancient city outside Jerusalem and Egypt appears more frequently in the Bible than Babylon. And the relationship between the two is not distant or metaphorical. It is intimate, traumatic, defining. In 597 BC, Nebuchadnezzar besieged Jerusalem. He took the Judean king prisoner. He stripped the temple of its treasures, the gold, the silver, the sacred vessels. And then he began the deportations. In waves 597, 587, 582 BC, the Babylonians took the Judean elite, the priests, the scribes, the craftsmen, the administrators. Anyone who might lead a revolt, who might preserve a national identity capable of resisting. So, Babylon, Rome, Carthage, Egypt, all of them thought they'd last forever. None of them did. But their record survived. And now you have them. If you enjoyed this one, like and subscribe. And leave a comment telling us which buried record you want us to dig up next.